The next gen shows a lot of promises for gamers and franchises young and old, but with a new generation comes the last stand for two lone warriors and a gang of misfits. We're not talking the Magnificent Seven, we're talking Mortal Kombat, Halo, and Metal Gear Solid, today on HGO. Welcome to HGO, the only show that can reload without shooting outside of the screen, along with Shadow and Trackdown. In the game industry, icons like Mario never retire, they just end up taking sports until they're done with. And Final Fantasy 13 coming out soon kind of shows us that we might never have to say goodbye to our favorite franchises.
E3's announcements might change all that. Several companies are announcing that it's out with the old and in with the new. With the new era of hardware and gaming, three of our favorites might be saying farewell soon.
Street Fighter II wasn't the only big-name fighter back in the 1990s. When Mortal Kombat was released, it upped the violence level to an amusing and pretty ridiculous level. This included finishing moves, meaning instead of your opponent just falling over motionless, you could actually knock them out and kill them yourself. The franchise itself has had more ups and downs than an OCD gamer putting in the Konami code. After a lackluster MK4, the series went home exclusive and brought with it a couple of deadly alliances, a little deception, and a couple of Shaolin monks, bringing us to the ultimate love fest of violence, Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Ed Boon and his friends at Midway have decided to bring radical changes to the next generation of Mortal Kombat, but without one final throwdown to see who's going to go on the PS3 and the 360. By the way, my money's on Stryker not making it. So what does this mean for Mortal Kombat fans? Possibly the most fully loaded, ridiculously large Mortal Kombat ever. Character-wise, the whole gang's going to be here, everybody from Goro to Onaga, giving Mortal Kombat fans every dream match they ever wanted. Kind of makes you wonder who do you have to unlock.
When you're talking backgrounds in Mortal Kombat, they can be just as deadly as the fighters, and Armageddon's not going to make an exception for this. You're going to see some classic locales like the subway and the pit come back in full 3D with some new death traps along the way. So it's going to be a little bit more fun to play around in your old playgrounds, and a lot of the rumored fatalities might come true this time around.
We've now satisfied the longtime fans, but now it's time for something new. The Deadly Alliance engine will now feature two upgrades. The Deception Breaker system will now allow for parrying, and there will be aerial combat. This could be hit or miss, but we'll have to see.
And talk about new, Ed Boon's been taking the fatality system that we've all known and loved and revamping it a little by little. This time you're going to have a multi-button input fatality, where you can decide if you want to beat your opponent up a little bit or completely decimate him. Old school fans, don't worry too bad. The classics are still going to be in there. You're just going to have to work a little harder to find them. Only problem I have is, where are the friendships at?
And Conquest Mode returns this time with a serious upgrade. Instead of this time going across the land, getting into a scuffle every now and then, you'll be able to fight your way across the land just like in Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Conquest Mode this time has a story, this time revolving around two sons. One good, one bad. Not much more has been revealed about this game, but Conquest Mode is shaping up to be a great upgrade.
And since Deception brought a lot of new features into Mortal Kombat, they're going to keep those and add a few more on the way. First of all, you got a new minigame called Motor Combat, which is going to be a Mario Kart knockoff. Except on this one, you skid off the track, you skid out of the game, and you die. On top of that, they're going to have a creative fighter mode, which you can take your character online, see how well it stands up even against players like me. And I guarantee you take on Trackdown online, you're going to go down.
All this sounds like we got one gigantic fighter on our hands. Mortal Kombat Armageddon will be enough for anyone to play, especially hardcore combatants. But the question is, will it survive the onslaught?
Well, Shadow, that's an awfully good question, so why don't you tell our viewers, is Mortal Kombat coming with us, or is it going to stay behind in the last gen?
I see Mortal Kombat coming with us. Mortal Kombat has always been the alternate fighter for people who did not want to always do the Street Fighter thing. I mean, I admit, it has had its own fair share of train wrecks. I mean, Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Mortal Kombat 4, but the fact, hey, it's bounced back with enough revenue from Shaolin Monks and Deception. And I think this coming game for Armageddon is going to be it's going to like live. It's going to be its own thing. I do see it continuing. I do see it even being around for another generation.
If you really want to answer this question, why don't you go ask John Tobias how well Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus did. You know what, Ed Boon's been talking about getting new characters in here, new modes, new styles, but keeping the same kind of gameplay for the next gen. The series is 16 years old. Not only that, you can see in Mortal Kombat 4, which was a failure to begin with. All these new characters came under fire and they never got anywhere near as popular as the old ones. The thing I want to say is, it's going to make it to Armageddon, but not a single day more. If only the good die young, Master Chief might be getting nominated for sainthood with his next and possibly last outing. We asked the Spartan what he wants on his tombstone next on HGO.
The Wii. That's the name change. Yeah, whatever. I'll just have to get used to it. I guess I don't have a choice. From what I hear and what I can see, the visuals are on par with GameCube. Not that visuals make a game. I mean, I would prefer 16-bit games over nowadays games pretty much ever. I don't know. I don't like the idea of getting a workout by playing games. You know, swinging a tennis racket, swinging nunchaku, swinging a sword, whatever. I'm not liking that idea. I'm glad that, near as I can tell, all the games will have an option to play with just, traditional style. That's how I like to play games. I go to the gym if I want to, sweat and everything and burn calories. I come home, I want to relax, I want to play my games and, slouch as much as possible. Maybe lean back. So that part I don't like. I'm not sold on that at all. Price point, yeah, it sounds great. It's good that Nintendo is, again, just putting out a game system. No DVD. I guess you have to buy a DVD add-on is the understanding. I won't. I just hope they get software support. I hope it's not like GameCube to where at the beginning, at launch, everybody's all stoked, all excited, all these third-party companies are all for it, and then they abandon it a year and a half later. I really, really hope that doesn't take that route. Time will tell. DS is great. Nintendo has a lock on the portable market and always will. Microsoft, God help them if they put out that origami thing, whatever. The later they put that out, the more millions of DSs and slightly less zeros PSPs will sell. So Microsoft just needs to not tread on that market. They might as well, scrap Japan too. They can't sell in Japan at all. I probably have more Xbox 360 games and I have none than any Japanese kid, if you could somehow make sense out of that. But we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. It's not looking pretty. I think it looks grim. I've been doing this a long time, 20 years. Have had almost every system in existence at one point or another. But, such is life. You just kind of deal with it and hope the Japanese can put out far superior products than us.
After 6 years and 2 games, Bungie has created a staple for FPS gamers everywhere with Halo. At E3, Halo 3 was announced to the world, but along with it some startling news that this may be Master Chief's last hurrah. We lock and load with Halo 3 for the 360. The Earth is in peril, and this time, the epic battle is going to come to an end. Or at least that's the intel put forth by Bungie. That Master Chief's return is going to close shop and leave no debts unpaid as he takes it to the Covenant one last time. With the Covenant now occupying Earth, home court advantage is no longer an option. John 1:17 is going to dig deep if he's to survive this encounter.
If Master Chief had a theme song, it'd probably be Mr. Lonely. He's the only surviving member of the Spartan 2 project after the Covenant destroyed the planet of Reach. Covenant themselves, group of alien bad boys looking for the Halo installations all throughout the galaxy. These were put there by the Forerunners who, by the way, you might be hearing about in a future Bungie game.
Next time at HGO, it's a fight in outer space, it's a dragon punch to the face, it's history of the hardcore, where fighters and shooters collide. Coming soon to HGO.